Benjamin Betts.
Yeah.
It's all about the Benjamin Betts, baby.
You know what's up? Yes, and Benjamin Betts, baby.
All right, we are here. Post Halloween episode. We're here with Jared. Say hi, Jared.
What up, everybody?
What up? This is Corey. We're in what, week 8? Did we just finish week 8 of the NFL season?
We did
For
just
Benjamin
finish
Betts?
week 8. We're betting on week 9.
All right, we're betting on week 9. So welcome to Benjamin Betts, the show where we lay $100 down. We pick some NFL games. We talk about some NBA. We talk a little bit of League of Legends. All our winnings, of course, go to charity at the end of the season. But Jared, let's just dive in. Recap the heartbreak that was last weekend NFL.
So we have a great winning percentage overall on our bets, but we are searching for the diamond in the rough, Corey.
We want the diamond.
We want the diamond. We want to hit that parlay because we put a parlay down on all of the 6 bets that we make every week. And we hit the Thursday night bet at Baltimore. We escaped London by the skin of our teeth. And we looked so good going into the noon games. And then there was heartbreak in New York as the Jets just pooped themselves again and again and again. And it's hard to get on here and complain that we went 5-1 in our bets this week because that's a fantastic winning percentage. But it really sucked to be so close to the promised land and lose it on a Jets squad that had been doing so good in prior weeks.
Yeah, we talked about that game, and it really, the heartbreak was right before halftime. And we were nip and tuck with the Miami game too. We were like, okay, we're watching both, and we weren't sure how that was going to turn out. But the Jets had a pick 6 before halftime, 17-3. I'm like, this is over. We got it, man. We got the Jets game. Now we got to focus on is Miami and worry about Seattle in the afternoon game. And then they called it back for freaking roughing the passer. Then it stayed 10-3. New England kicked a field goal, 10-6. Goes into halftime. It just didn't feel good. And then Wilson just unraveled for the Jets and threw as many picks as anybody could throw, and they lost, and it was so stupid.
So dumb.
And then, so we're thinking, well, maybe we'll lose one of the other ones. No, Miami covered.
But I'm gonna stay. I want to stay positive because we probably we escaped the Miami game. We for sure escaped the game in London, and then I believe which game was it where they went for it on 4th and 1? I believe that was the London game.
That was right. Yeah,
that was the Denver game.
Yeah,
and there were people sitting on that over that were pissed. They were like, kick the field goal. I guarantee you there were so many people sitting watching that game who took the over that were saying, kick the field goal. And then we're screaming, go for it, one! Like, just end the game.
Well, and we're cheapskates, so we don't have ESPN Plus. So like, we're not even able to watch the game. So we're literally on the game cast.
I can't keep up with it anymore. It's like Thursday nights is Amazon Prime, and then there's stuff on NFL Network, and then ABC. It's like so spectrumizing, and I'm just like, can't it just all be in one nice little pack? Like, I agree. ESPN Plus, like, I got ESPN. I don't have ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Next year, Rogue Media Network's going to put in for a Thursday night game. We're going to try to get one.
I like it.
So people got to watch it on RogueMediaNetwork.com. Just I don't care if it's Jacksonville Texans. Just give me a game, It'd be
I hear you.
So 5-1 in our single game bets. The creditors, people that were sweating their mortgage payments before the fall hit, they hit. We were fine.
Hit, baby.
Everyone was fine.
Back to 4-4. You're even money making that mortgage.
You're even on your mortgage money. We're gonna go ahead this week, so everyone just chill. But that was fine. The Titans completely covered for us, so I was not worried there. The under on the Rams
scary
game, a little close, close, but
scary.
snuck in under there. So That was
So we
great.
hit 7 out of 8 6 I'm sorry, we hit
Yeah.
7 out of 8 bets then this week.
We went 7 out of 8.
We went 7 out of 8. We hit the mortgage. That is a fantastic week. And now our winning percentage for the year, close to being halfway through the year if you don't count the playoffs.
Yeah.
We're sitting really great.
Yeah, we're above 60% now. You know, we're getting room service brought up to our place at Caesars, you know, for our sports betting. I mean, we're back in the good graces here, but we got to have a good week here, Jared. We got to be consistent. We got to follow it up. We do have 2 5-1 weeks so far in
We
the first
do.
8 weeks. That's pretty good. I mean, I would take that, but I want the win. I want the parlay hit.
That's
So
why I love you, because you're hungry, baby. You're not
no,
settled
no,
at
no.
5-1. You want the undefeated. You want the
Mm,
72 Dolphins season. You want to
I
go all
want
the
it.
way.
Give it to me. Pop the cork. Give it to me.
So
I want undefeated.
kick it
All
off
right.
then. What is happening this week? Again, this is I felt like last week was a good week. I feel like there's a lot of unpredictability. I don't know. It's an unpredictable week as I look through these matchups.
Sure.
So I don't know. We cleaned up on unders last week. Are you feeling more unders, or where do you want to start us off?
I am actually, and call me crazy. I like one under and one over. So
Okay.
I'm not going all I'm not team under this week all the way. But I want to start us off, and I more so want to do this for 2 reasons. My first game is one, I think it's a good bet, but 2, I want to line us up in case there's some drama and we're 5-0 and we're going into Monday Night Football.
Oh, baby.
Ravens, Saints. Ravens minus 2.5 is just asking to be bet. I mean, I can just feel it. The Saints are a weird team. I don't get them. They shut teams out. They're in 40 to 30 games. Their defense looks good. Sometimes their defense looks bad. No idea. But what I do know is give me Justin Tucker for a game-winning field goal any day of the week that covers a bet. I like Ravens minus 2.5. I think. Is your boy Andrews healthy? Is he playing?
He is questionable, but it's a shoulder injury, not anything that should be. So he should be good to go.
All right.
So
Give
I
me,
like that bet a lot. We took a similar bet this past week,
yeah,
paid off for us. Ravens cover. It's not right. They're not blowing anyone out these days,
no.
but they're winning games by 5 to 8 points.
Yeah, I think just when you have the lethal field goal kicker and you give me 2.5, I take it. So that's my first bet. I hope we're going into Monday night sweating it. That'd be so great. So give me Ravens minus 2.5. Kick us off.
All right. I honestly am going to the Sunday night game.
Oh,
And call me crazy for taking the Titans plus the points. But hear me out on this. Hear me out.
Okay.
If you look at what is happening in the NFL today, you have these big explosive teams, right? You have the Chiefs, you have the Bills, you have the Eagles. Very prolific offenses, right? What is the best counter to a team that throws the ball as well as those 3 teams do?
You get the big boy running back.
You run the ball and you control the clock, which is exactly what we saw. You even messaged me about, oh, we should have taken Packers plus 10.5. That's what they finally did. It's what everybody's been asking them to do all season, and they finally did. They handed the ball off. They used play action. That is all that Tennessee does. And you're telling me that Tennessee isn't going to keep it within 10, even though this game is in KC? No way, man. What the Tennessee Titans do is they fundamentally play to the level of the team that they're playing.
Sure.
Chiefs will win this game by 10 or less. So I'm taking Tennessee plus the points, even though this is an away game. Tannehill should be back in the game. We're not talking about Willis still throwing the ball. If it was Willis, I would say, I need about 20 points. But I like
20.
it. I like it. We
Poor
run the
Willis.
ball well. We play action well. We control the clock well. I'll take 12.5.
All right. Yeah, here we go. Tannehill didn't practice in the team's Saturday walkthrough. This was last week. He was unable to practice. Signs that the veteran could potentially be unavailable Sunday. So he was unavailable,
He
but the
was.
fact that it was close means, yeah, maybe we get some Tannehill back. I like Willis. I told Mike, who's our resident Titans fan, it was a good pick. He looked good in preseason. Give him time. He
He
can't throw yet,
does.
but it's
He
okay.
needs time. They need to
All
let him
right,
loose the same way that they let Jalen and all of these other great running quarterbacks loose.
sure.
But
And I think we would
but
have seen like Trey Lance do this year if he had broken his ankle or whatever in the
that's
first
fair. No,
game.
that's fair.
So
Uh,
I like it. I had marked because my rule on this show. Kansas City plays, we take the over. So I had the over marked, but I like plus 12.5 for Tennessee as well. I think you're
we can
right.
come
I think
back,
this is
baby.
a nip and tuck game. As long as Derek can get going, get the man going. I don't know why any other play should be ever run if you're 3rd and 2, 4th and 2, 5th and 1. Like in the ball. Why would you never do that? So just don't make this too hard, Tennessee. Don't
Yeah.
overthink it.
Don't
And some
don't
Travis
pull
Kelce.
a Seattle New England Super Bowl flubbo.
Don't.
Just hand it
Yeah,
off. Hand it off.
still, I said it 9 million times. Don't get cute. Don't get cute. Just run the ball with Marshawn. What are we doing? Okay, sorry. Bringing us back here. I'm debating between two of these. Well, one is obvious, so maybe we'll just go there. Jared, you ever been to Arizona? What, you
You
ever
just
been
can't
to the state
you
of
just
Arizona?
can't let him go. You just can't let your
Ever-
Hawks go, man.
You ever been to Phoenix? No, maybe.
I remember a certain individual that's not myself in this podcast consistently saying we'll always split with the Cardinals. They're gonna win one, we're gonna win one. And
That was
and is that this one? Even though I'm getting 2 points, is that this one?
that was a different Cardinals team. This is not a good Cardinals team. And there's something about this this Seattle. Did you hear the? I was watching the game, but I don't know if you heard it later that the ref for the Seahawks game, there was a call at the end of the game, and Pete Carroll. The
Yes,
game was over.
yes,
And
he got
then
the
the ref said the
penalty.
Seattle
Yeah,
Mariners.
yes.
I was like,
He got a penalty for being in his way, and then
Yeah.
the ref clearly called what looked like an offsides motion
Yeah.
because he had no idea what the motion for whatever penalty they just called.
Sideline interference.
Amazing
on the
sequence of events.
Seattle Mariners. People were like, the Mariners. Ichiro.
Yeah, Ichiro is sitting at home right now going, Ken, what did we do wrong? What? Like,
What did we do? Ichiro is saying that.
Yeah. It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
Hi, I'm Hank. You might remember me from a show called King of the Hill. Check out a King of the Hill rewatch podcast. These boys ain't right, but they are funny. Find the podcast anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com. I tell you what.
Yeah. It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
But yeah, give me points, man. +2. I would have taken this -4 Seattle. So plus 2. And in fact, we may see this bet again. I like give me Seattle +2. We hot, baby. There's something about the team right now, Jared. Something in the water. Bet them. Give me Seattle +2. Gino, Kenneth, Little Mo with the gimpy leg. No, and DK. I mean, we're playing well. Defense is playing well. +2.
all right, I'm heading. Now I want to talk you through this because I went back and forth on these two, and this is where I landed. So I was looking at either the Chargers Falcons or Raiders Jaguars game, and
Okay.
I don't know who will win either of those games.
Yeah.
But I said, looking at both of those, I said there's an over in one of these games. And the Raiders just looked. I'm sorry. I said I'm either going under in the Jaguars game or over in the Falcons game. Sorry.
Okay.
But because the Raiders looked so terrible last week,
Yeah.
and so did the Jaguars. I thought they'll just like yawn. It'll just be a snooze fest. But then I thought maybe it's because they're so bad that the points were being scored that kind of scared me off of that. So I'm kind of looking at this Chargers Falcons game saying these teams are both putting up points. They're both in playoff hunts. They can both go get it. I kind of like the over Chargers at Falcons 49.5. I just neither team plays defense really great, and they both have scoring offenses.
Sure. Yeah, both of them. I'm with you, man. I always go whenever we pick these overs or unders. I try to imagine the score. 27-24. That seems low.
Oh, yeah, for that game it does seem low.
For that game, I just feel like one of these teams is getting in the 30s, and that's not because they're blowing the other one out. I think they're keeping pace. I like the Falcons. I think they'll probably even, I don't know, they might sneak a win here. But either way, I think the Chargers are going to score. I think Keenan Allen's coming back. Fingers crossed. Not like for one series this time, like for maybe half a game. It wouldn't be an episode of Benjamin Betts if we didn't talk about our fantasy year. I am playing David Brown this week, who is number 1 in our league. Oh my gosh. Like,
he's a juggernaut, man.
I spent time studying his team. It's terrifying. There's no way. And then
he
I looked at my
He got any teams on bye this week?
He has Chubb. Chubb is on bye. The Cleveland. So there I get a little help there. But it made me more so look at my team and think how inferior I am. Like, I really felt crappy about my team. Whereas up until this week, I'm like, okay, I got a puncher's chance. And then I'm like, oh, no. I looked at how many players he has in the top 15 of
crazy
points scored. He has like 5, and I have 1. I'm just like, no, this isn't
he will most likely run away with the season in our league. But there's always hope. You know, a lot of those players get benched in the playoffs. And who you got on your bench? Who you got on your bench?
I almost had a miracle that Cooper Kupp injury. It sounds like he's going to play, though. But, if they could just sit him, I would be so happy.
He's so Cooper dumb. Kupp. He just keeps getting receptions, even though the Rams are just utterly terrible. Like, just utterly terrible.
They should just throw it to Allen Robinson all game. So,
yeah.
All right, I like it. Over on Chargers Falcons. So lots of Keenan Allen. I'll give you a little bit of Eckler, the wide receiver there. For
they're going to be some Eckler. They got to be some Eckler.
The wide receiver for the Chargers. My petition to ESPN is still pending. I want them to go back and change our score. That would be nice. All right. This one's a weird one, but it felt good. I think Carolina at the Bengals is an interesting one. And I think the way Carolina lost last week, it was heartbreaking, the extra point thing. The Bengals just got smothered and destroyed on Monday Night Football. But I think there's something about Carolina Panthers. I think there's just I don't know. I smell it. Like, you smell it. I think plus 7.5. I like that. I don't think they're getting blown out. I think this team is going to try hard. I think they're actually a decent team. They've just had like really bad luck in some of these games. I like Carolina plus 7.5. No Jamar Chase. I think it makes the Bengals a little one-dimensional. I know T. Higgins is good and Boyd and stuff, but like, I don't know. I think Carolina will keep this a weird game. Weird. I don't know what that means is low scoring or high scoring. Give me Carolina plus 7.5.
I like that. It's just it's like, to me, it's like, who's more angry? Like the Panthers, who should have won that game for all intensive purposes on an amazing play, or the Bengals, who just got humiliated on Monday Night Football. So no, I'm with that. I can totally get down with that. Okay, this one seems straightforward to me. Tell me I'm not missing something, but why are we not taking Minnesota minus 3.5 going to Washington? Like, all of a sudden Washington's this amazing team.
Yeah.
Like, why am I missing something here, Corey?
You're not missing anything. I think I was wondering if we were going to hit this or not, because now this is the first time that potentially something else, another bet will go directly into our 6 bets. But let's see how that rolls. But yeah, I love this. They just got TJ Hawkinson, the Detroit tight end. So just in time for him to play me in fantasy on Aaron's team. But now he's on the Vikings. And I think that now, I mean, God, Kirk Cousins, like, I might be able to throw the ball in Minnesota. I mean, you got Hawkinson, you got Jefferson, you got Thielen, you got Cook, you got everybody. Yeah, Minnesota -3.5. I know their 6-1 record is a little like, is that, how legitimate is that? But 3.5, you can't win by 4 in Washington against Heineke. Like, I like it.
And I know
love
they're kind of hyped right now. They got a good win this past week, but I agree with you. Like, I just think if they're a true 6-1 team and they do have all of this offensive power, like you said, they added Hawkinson. Yeah, -3.5 all day.
Yeah.
Where are you at for the mortgage? You got a chance to go above 500 on our mortgages, get people paying their house note off.
Yeah.
Where are we going this week for our mortgage?
I'm actually gonna change it up for a minute. Oh, hey, remember, the Make the Mortgage is brought to you by Rocket Mortgage. Not really, but maybe someday it will be. It just fits so well. I'm gonna change it up. I haven't done this yet. I was gonna get us points with Minnesota Commanders and the Seahawks. I only can pick one of the two. I'm gonna go with my third tier one. So
No, let's go fresh. Let's go. We are presented by Rogue Media, so I say we go rogue this week on the mortgage and do something that we haven't looked at yet.
You want to do that? Okay, all right, let's do that. Okay, so we're gonna take the two. I guess since we like these already, so I guess that does kind of make sense that we would do this. So we're going to Seattle. We're getting 5 points. So we're not quite 1-to-1 here, but $100 wins us 90. I think that's still within our realm of doing this the way we like to do it. Let's just win you $90. If I was walking down the street and I said, "Hey, here's $90," one, you'd probably question it for a second, but you would take it. If I just said, "Here's $90, take $90," like, what's the problem? That's what I'm doing here. I'm just, here's $90. I want to give you $90, and this is a nice way for me to do it. So Seattle +7 now. So now Seattle, they'll win the game, but there could be a little bit of wiggle room here. They could still lose by a field goal, even lose by 6 points. We're fine. Seattle +7, easy all day. Now you go to Minnesota. We're getting +1.5 there. I think this is an outright win, and in probably most gambling circles, we would tease these points down the other way to get more value. But again, this is making your mortgage. We're not gambling here. This is the surefire thing. So Minnesota +1.5. It covers us a tad if it's like a game-winning something, which last week, I think the Commanders, it was 17-16. Right? Or at one point, I don't know if that's what the game ended up being, but that was a 1-point game. So give me that. Seattle +7, Minnesota +1.5. We're teasing 5 points here for making the mortgage. Brought to you by Rocket Mortgage, your mortgage lender for people that want to buy a house. So there you go. That's a mortgage bet.
We'll get them. We'll get that sponsor one day.
We'll get that sponsorship.
Corey, let's transition. I like all of that for NFL. Let's transition to NBA.
Yeah.
You have been killing it. Tell us about where's your record at and where are we at in terms of money we've brought in?
I think I'm a little heartbroken right now because we're coming off from a loss yesterday. The Steve Nash firing, I thought, was going to motivate the Nets a little bit more, and it did not. It did not. So we had teased, it was Nets, I think, +3. And then the other team was Minnesota versus Phoenix. We had +9 in that game from Minnesota. ended up being a 9-point game. Didn't matter because the Nets lost outright, or they lost by 9 as well. So we missed. So overall, 10-4, 10 wins, 4 losses. Pretty good. We started this, or I was 5-1, which was a good start. Now been 5-3 in the last 8 games, but still have a pretty good, I feel like, grasp of what's going on. Tonight, we do these for a week and then we recap. So the last week was good. I think this past week, like I said, about 5-3 was the last 8 games. Not many Portland games in there though, which is what I love picking. And so just for tonight, what we're going to roll with, Portland is at home against Memphis, which is a full Memphis squad. And of course, Portland, we don't have Lillard tonight, but we will be picking them at the +5, and then we'll tease that. And then the old faithful San Antonio Spurs. I feel like Portland, San Antonio, Milwaukee. I've kind of been liking Washington for a minute here too, if the points are right. Those will kind of be probably teams that we focus on as we go through. I've been liking not the Clippers in any way, shape, or form. But I just kind of up in the air. Their team is just so iffy. And then of course, Cleveland. I just think Donovan Mitchell is a man on a mission. Mobley, that is a good team. Anytime you can get plus points, like tonight, they're playing Boston. Boston, of course, is incredible, but Cleveland +2 at home could tease that up a little bit. We could be looking at, you get Cleveland +7 and Portland +10. That seems like a good night to me, and go to bed with a win. So, stuff like that. We'll be tracking this. My goal this week, by the time we talk next week, I would love to do like a 6-1 week, or like a 5-2, something like that. I think 5-1 in week 1 was good. 5-3.
You've had those, yeah. Like you're killing it right now.
We're at 72%, which is awesome. That's incredible. It's where we want to be. But I just don't want to get stagnant. We want to keep trucking. Last night, if you counted a loss, and I'm curious because I lost the Nets part of the bet, but then the Minnesota part tied. So it was +9 and they lost by 9. So I'm going to say that's not a loss on both bets on the parlay.
No,
so
I wouldn't.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that. So still haven't lost both ends of a 2-team teaser yet, but I want to have a bounce back tonight. And what better than Cleveland, Portland? So we're going to roll with that. See how it goes.
I think it's good. I just think there's so many volatile teams right now that I've really been enjoying the picks. Like past year sexy picks like Golden State, Brooklyn, LA. There's just so much going on there, and it may be easy to bet against them. But even in betting against them, if you're going to lay points against those teams, it's not like the talent can't show up any given night, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's got to be driving, people who bet the big boys crazy. But you're 100% right. There are this stream of teams that you're consistently looking at and betting, and it's a system. We're not just willy nilly like, I like this tonight. Like we're watching. I think the biggest thing that you and I love to watch, it's not necessarily statistics, but it's the narratives of what is going on any given day or any given week based on the sport.
Mm-hmm. You're right, and that's like the soap opera part. Like when my mom used to always watch these soap operas, and it was always like, man, those are ridiculous. And then my mom's like, that's what sports are. That's what sports are. And it's kind of true because the narratives are always so good. Like,
yeah,
what's going to happen, who's going to win, how that's going to go. It's like, oh, it's always so enticing.
Because you can't tell me right now that and Tom Brady even admitted it, that what's going on with him and Giselle isn't affecting his play. Maybe not to a big degree, but to some degree, right? So that affects how you bet Tampa Bay.
Sure.
It fundamentally does. So that's what I enjoy. I love hearing what's going on, loving the basketball bets that you're putting down. And we're sitting on a good chunk of change because of that right now. In the upcoming weeks, we're going to bust out some spreadsheets. We don't want to dismiss statistics. It's just that I don't think statistics tell the entire story on the bets that we like to lay down.
No, I for sure, yeah. But it does. It's good to kind of have the analytic side of things, and then you have the feel side of things. And I think
Yes.
you blend the both together, and I think that's what gets you a good product. And yeah, I mean, the narratives are important. I thought Steve Nash being fired, they were going to be fired up. They were
I
not
did
fired.
too, and I think that's why that was a good bet last night. Did it hit? No. Do you expect Kyrie Irving to go like 2 for 12
Yeah.
after all of this? But to me, it just showed that we didn't know the dysfunction
Yeah.
beyond Steve Nash that's going on in
Well,
that organization.
and it was like, man, at one point they're up 11 in the third quarter. And then the game gets close. And, so I'm watching the last like 5 minutes. Man, Kevin, I sent you a text. I just said, screw KD. He on three, it was like 3 minutes left. He threw a pass stolen. It was a terrible pass. And I want to say the next play down, he's driving to the hoop, he gets stripped. And then probably then they'd hit a three, had cut it to 9 or 6, and then he's like, oh, he's passing. I'm like, oh, we hit the shot, we cut it to 5 or 4, stolen again. And I'm just like, 3 turnovers in the last 3 or 4 minutes. The man blew the game. It's his fault. I know Kyrie did not have a good game, but I blame Kevin. I blame him.
Yeah.
So I
He
just
just
like,
looks he honestly the Kevin Durant that existed in OKC and existed in Golden State is just different than Kevin Durant in Brooklyn. Like I don't know if it's age, if it's like Kevin Durant after injuries, but even watching him in the first round of the playoffs last year, like he just looks shook as
mm,
anything other than a pure scorer. Passing, assisting, spreading the floor, it's just not working for
yeah,
him for some reason. So there's a lot of
mm,
teams that need
maybe
to figure it out.
maybe him and Tom Brady can go get dinner, try to figure it out.
Maybe, man, they got get rid of their yips. I don't know what's going on there. So,
The KD.
but
Yeah.
the KD yips. But yeah,
All
so
right.
you want to talk a little esports?
Yeah, wrap it up here real quick. We got to roll soon. So
All right,
hit us with some esports.
real quick. Quarterfinals, I was on point.
Mm.
Semifinals, couldn't have been more wrong on both games. Could not have been any wrong, which is fine because we didn't lay money. We just like to talk about it a little bit here at the end of the show.
Yeah.
But in two surprising games, 3-1 in both series, the number 3 seeded Korean SKT, who has one of the greatest players on all time, like call it an upset, don't call it an upset, whatever. But they 3-1 the number 1 Chinese team. And then
Mm.
in the craziest upset of this entire tournament, DRX, the number 4 seed from Korea, who almost didn't even make it into the tournament bracket because they had to play their way in,
Hmm.
and they upset the number 1 seeded Korean team in Jin Ji in a 3-1 series.
That's
And
crazy.
it is just bananas. Like I'm super excited because now this is a finals that I will watch. I'm actually
Mm.
planning, they're streaming it at movie theaters on Saturday all across the country. I'm
Cool.
planning on being there to watch what, even though it's 2 Korean teams, it's not the Korean teams that anybody thought should
Yeah.
be here. And you have legendary players like Faker on one side and Deft on the other side in
Yeah.
kind of this like war of like Deft has never had one. This could
Yeah.
be Faker's 4th. It feels like a football storyline here, but we're talking about esports, which is
Yeah.
so exciting.
Yeah, that's exciting, and that's just something. I mean, we've been watching play. I mean, esports and professional league for like 10 plus years. So it's storyline and players that we've seen kind of come up the ranks, and it's so funny. Like ages in this, they can turn pro at like 17, and they're amazing, and then by the time they're like 26, 27, they're like dinosaurs. But Faker, 26, and that's still super young in real life, but in league, you're like, what? He can still click a mouse? Like, are you kidding me?
Very
So
well.
that's
That
cool.
man clicks a mouse very well.
He can click a mouse. So
But here's what's
we're
so
excited.
interesting.
Maybe we get him on the show next week. Who knows?
And his
He's in the
interpreter.
States. We'll
But
shoot.
here's and I'll point out this out on the way out. What's so interesting, I think, for you and I about esports, especially in the games that we like to watch in mini games, is when you look at it versus traditional sports, you see in traditional sports, football, basketball, the player is playing as themselves, right? Kevin Durant is Kevin Durant. He's playing as Kevin Durant. But
Yeah.
these people in League of Legends, they can pilot one of over 100 different characters.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild. So what we saw and what was so interesting in these last couple of games is the meta just went out the window. It's like, oh, we're not playing crappy North American and European teams. Oh, now we can start busting out all the fun, cool stuff that we're playing each other. And the
Yeah.
only thing I can think of, like, if you're looking for a relationship, is like when an NBA team or an NFL team goes to their bench and brings out this random player with this random skill set in order to do something. Like, I think of when the Lakers brought out Tyronn Lue to cover Iverson in the finals.
Yeah.
Like, that man wasn't playing. He
No.
wasn't getting minutes. And now all of a sudden he's a starter
Sure.
because he can guard Iverson, right? Because
Yeah.
the skill set matches. And that's what you get to see in every single match of esports. So if you like that type of stuff, if you like seeing stuff switch up, I just encourage you to give esports a try. Like, once you get, like, any game, you know the fundamentals, it's just really cool.
Yeah. Dive in. You may not know who or what is happening, but it is entertaining. I before I ever had watched any esports, our friend David was like, "Hey, you need to watch this StarCraft," and I'm like, I don't know what the heck's going on, And but I could feel that energy from the announcer just screaming. I'm like, this is happening, and I'm just like, well, I'm excited. I don't know why, but I'm into it, and it was cool. And then when you really start to like understand the game itself, then it's just like watching. Football on Sundays. It's the same feel. You're watching the strategy. Who's going to upset? This is a new thing. What are they doing? Like, yeah, I don't know. And the announcers do a really good job of explaining what's going on and all the things. So watch it. Worlds. Saturday?
Saturday night, November 5th, I believe it is. And if you're out there listening, you can watch it at home from the comfort of your home. If you want to go out and feel more of a fan base, they are showing it at movie theaters across the nation. It's a little more expensive. It's $20-25 a ticket, but you're going to get some swag. They're going to cut in. I don't know if what theaters they'll be at, but they're going to cut in on the live stream of the game into different theaters all across the world watching it. So maybe you'll be at a theater if you're in a bigger market.
There we go. Well, Jared, this was a good episode. We had a good week last week. Let's do it again this week. It was a pleasure. I'm excited. I'm elated. I don't know all the words. Let's get it done, my friend. Let's get it done.
Let's get it done. Week 9. Both need a fantasy win. Both need some wins here. I feel like, if I have to be honest, we have some riskier bets in this batch this week, but I don't mind it. I'm not here to just like you said a couple weeks ago, I'm not going to let you take the Bills outright minus 500. We ain't taking the Bills outright minus 500.
We ain't about that life. Anybody could do that. We're not doing that. We're here to make educated, good bets.
I like it.
Bets.
I like it.
Yeah. If we both get fantasy wins this week, I will lose my mind. Anyway. All right.
Well,
Jared,
this is ironically, I'll say this on the way out, looking at the parlay that we're laying, this is the lowest parlay amount that we would ever win. So Vegas is actually telling us these aren't that bad of bets this week because we're under 500. We're sitting at 464 right now. If we hit our 16 part, 464. So this could be it, man.
Go back. All right, give me the Jets money line. Change it up.
I'll throw in. I'm gonna do my own mortgage this week. I'll tease up Miami at Chicago. That seems good.
Oh yeah.
And then just give me Bills -7 at the Jets. They suck.
Ooh.
Screw the Jets.
Yeah.
Make some more money.
I like that. I think you should tease it the other way. Do Miami has to win by 10, and the Bills have to win by 20. Do that. That'll be
just clean up. Just clean up.
Clean it up. Only 3 TDs. Not a big deal.
Oh my gosh.
All right, Jared.
We're gonna wrap it up. That Benjamin bets week 9 in the book. Remember, for NBA bets at Rogue Corcor, you would be making a lot of Rogue Coco. I apologize. Rogue Coco. COCO. You would be making a lot of money right now by betting as Rogue Coco does. There's easy money to be made in the NBA right now.
Follow the money. Follow the money. That's what you do. All right. See you, buddy.
See ya.
Yeah. It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.
Bros and foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hey, I'm Zach,
And I'm Mike.
and we have a fantastic new podcast to tell you about. Bros, Foes, and Heroes. It's the two of us looking into the world of comics, breaking down some characters that you may have never heard of, and some that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so Zach comes up with a character each time, and I go into it just completely blind. I don't know who this person is or what their abilities are or anything, and basically I guess we kind of go over their origin story and just some of the ridiculous stuff that maybe, especially Golden Age stuff.
Oh, Golden Age stuff is always the best, and we will make sure to highlight all of the shenanigans and just absolute weirdness of everything.
Yeah, that's right. So subscribe today and follow us on Instagram at Bros Foes Heroes.
And if you don't, I know where you live. Not really, but please subscribe.
Bros and foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hi, I'm Hank. You might remember me from a show called King of the Hill. Check out a King of the Hill rewatch podcast. These boys ain't right, but they are funny. Find the podcast anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com. I tell you what.